Hello everyone, welcome back to Doki Blue Skies. I am back with Max, and we are going to play episode 2. Let us get back into our save. Okay, so we wrote the poem for Yuri, and now we're automatically back into the literature club, I guess. Main Kara, fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, what a coincidence, huh?
Seriously speaking, though, I'm happy to see you back here. I would have been disappointed if you ran away on us.
Hey, I enjoyed myself last time, so why wouldn't I come back?
True enough. Feel free to make yourself at home before we start on our club debates, our club activities.
Thanks, will do.
Well, I'm back at the literature club. Sayori and I were the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Oh, Main Kara, I'm glad to see you here again. Who knew that something so simple would warrant so much thanks? First Monica, and now Yuri. I know that it may be overwhelming to be thrown into a new hobby so suddenly, much less an organization centered around that hobby. So don't hesitate to let me know if you ever need any help. Or any other club member, for that matter. That is to say, feel free to ask any one of us for assistance.
Right, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Don't worry though, it's not like I've never read anything before. I even remembered to write a poem for today, if you'll believe it.
We'll believe it when we... Oh wait, that was you.
We'll believe it when we see
it.
Oh gosh. Hey, it's not like I need to have a university degree to write a poem.
Yeah, especially for a first-timer.
It was just like another school assignment. Although it might be a little new to me, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard to write a bad poem, you mean?
She's got me there.
And that's why I never said I wrote a good poem. Ha-ha!
Natsuki smirks at me, seemingly pleased that I'm not offended by her teasing. Well, good is often subjective when it comes to subjects like these. I'm sure you did fine, Main Kara.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. And try not to overhype my work, though.
Yeah, Yuri, if you keep your expectations low, you'll never be disappointed.
Oof.
Guys.
That line hits so differently when you've already played DDLC.
Oh, yeah. With her piece of dad and stuff. It's like, poor
yeah,
girls.
Oh my god.
Besides, I bet this is the first extracurricular. Let's try this again.
Okay.
Besides, I bet this is the first extracurricular Main Kara's done since high school started.
That word is so tricky.
There.
That was good. You powered
Extracurricular.
It's not hard to say extracurricular. It's just hard to say it as Natsuki.
Right.
So extra work is probably really foreign to him. Hey!
Again, she's not
You
wrong,
nerd.
but she doesn't have to say it like that. Such a meanie, Natsuki.
It's true, but you shouldn't say it.
Natsuki, you're being unfairly harsh.
Kara, what would you say your main hobbies are?
Wow, she's really putting me on the spot here.
I know I'm playing into your teasing right now, but yes, I spend a lot of my time playing games and watching anime.
And that's all you need to know.
That's a bit rich, coming from someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. No. Natsuki splutters to a halt. Looks like a certain someone knows how to dish it out, but can't take it. Yeah, it's fun until someone gives you a taste of your own medicine.
Oh man, been there.
It's literature!
Swiftly defeated,
Oh,
Natsuki
man.
flops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys! Main Kara always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He's always been
Yeah.
there when I need it. When we were kids, he'd always be around to help me with stuff. Oh, are you two childhood friends? I glance at Sayori. Despite her cheery recollection of our childhood memories just then, Yuri's question is a reminder that we haven't spent much time together in a long time. It's a tad awkward.
We've known each other for a while, haven't we?
We smile at each other. I'm really hoping we can use the club to reconnect.
Yay.
Such a history with one another. I imagine you've shared much together.
You could say that. Would you believe Sayori is still as clumsy now as she was 10 years ago?
Hey, Mimi. That's not true.
That's right, you're even more clumsy.
Aw.
Oh? Need I tell Yuri about the time you tried to cook lunch and almost set the house on fire?
Her face turns pink and she rushes to interrupt me. Anyway, I'm sure you two could be just as good friends. After all, you're both in the literature club now.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yuri looks hopeful at hearing this, although I can't help but wonder. Given the maturity and intelligence she carries so elegantly, and how her passion for reading is much stronger than my own, will it be as easy as Sayori thinks it is? Still, it's worth a try at least. Yay! Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori?
What?
Eh?
Eh? Me?
It's not much, really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing.
Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll like it. What is it, Yuri?
Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. I was going to wait to gift it to you at the appropriate time, but... Eh? Oh, I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. Now I've ruined the surprise. The two girls both look dolefully down. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So this is still a pleasant surprise to me. Just knowing that you went through the effort to get me something makes me feel really welcomed. No matter what, I'm sure it'll make me happy.
Is that so?
Of course. Thank you for being so considerate, Yeti! Thanks for being considerate, Yeti!
Ah, Yuri's a Yeti! It's funny, it's like if Doki Doki Literature Club was full of monsters, she'd be a Yeti. You're welcome.
Oh, man.
It was the least I could do. Anyway, if that's the case, here it is. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. Oh yeah, she gives him a book. Isn't this the book from yesterday? Upon seeing the confused look on my face, she hastens to explain. I thought you might like to, have your own copy so that you can read it on your own as well. I honestly don't know what to say. How is it that she's only known me for a day and she's already done something this thoughtful for me?
Oh, Yuri, thank you. That's really thoughtful of you, but, you didn't have to do that for me. I feel kind of bad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that. I just, I understand if you don't want to read with me anymore, so... Honestly, she gets more adorable by the minute. She is.
Oh. Oh, man. Please, it's fine. I'd love to read it with you. I just wasn't expecting you to buy me a copy of my own.
Are you sure? I don't want to force you.
Seriously, Yuri, I'm sure. After all,
I grin at her.
it is a good book.
She timidly returns my smile, relaxing a little bit. I'm glad you seem to think so. How are you liking it so far? She looks at me with wide, expectant eyes. She must be really worried that I'm not enjoying it as much as her.
Say, I'm enjoying this main character way more than I'm enjoying Doki Doki Literature Club's main character.
Yeah, definitely.
This dude is so much nicer.
Yeah. I mean, the original main character is, like, into the girls, but I think he was a little more of a dumbass.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was just kind of a jerk too. like, huh, this book is weird.
Yeah.
Your book is weird, Yuri.
Yeah.
Alright. To be honest, I've been pleasantly surprised. While horror isn't really my thing, it really kept my attention. Even though I haven't gotten very far yet, I find myself feeling sorry for the protagonist. The language is pretty, engaging. It certainly makes me think about it.
As I praise the book, her face grows visibly more relieved, and her eyes light up as soon as I mention the language. I'm glad you think so. One not only needs to look at what is being said, but how it's phrased. It can entirely change the desired message. Wouldn't you agree? Oh, that's nice. That's like referencing how the whole mod is talking, it's covering the same story, but in such a different way.
Yeah. It wants us to pay attention to how it's phrased rather than what's already being said. Because we know what's been said.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, the entire story, having had to replay the whole game, in order to get, the mod to work, so... yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I hope we don't get into an in-depth discussion about the language. I'm still nowhere near Yuri's level with this sort of thing.
Oh, totally. I've never really thought about it until you brought it up with me. You really made me look at it with a bit more scrutiny than I normally would have.
She blushes at this, turning away slightly. Really? I helped you with that?
I have to admit, you really managed to open my eyes to this sort of thing. Or should I say, my third eye?
Oh. Her face is blank. Yuri's silence makes me nervous. Did I make a mistake?
Get it? It's a joke. You know? Because the book mentions the third eye and that there's an eye on the cover.
Ah, I see.
Okay.
Probably best not to comment
Tough crowd.
on her accidental continuation of the pun. Because I see. Oh, Yuri.
Oh, I get it. Oh, tough crowd. Who's that?
Oh, I see. You're making a joke. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Whoosh.
That's the sign of a good joke, when somebody doesn't realize it's a joke.
Yeah, the laughter can be
No
all
worries,
the more.
No worries, I just thought it was a good pun.
She smiles bashfully. Yes, it is quite humorous, isn't it? Phew, I think that means everything is okay now. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off the scheduled activities for the club. Like the poetry thing, I've already steeled myself for the critique I'll probably be receiving. But it seems that we have some downtime before then. Ah well, looks like I won't be able to just immediately get it over with. What are the others doing right now? Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner, probably discussing club matters, given that they're the president and vice president. As expected, Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. A few huffs of annoyance sound from her direction every once in a while. I'd love to talk to Yuri a bit more, especially after she gave me that book. Oh, I guess it's right into talking to Yuri, no choice, because we made a poem for her, so the game knows we want to spend more time with her.
Hell yeah, we do.
However, she seems to be focused on her own book. I'm worried I might just distract her. As she lifts it up to turn the page, I get a glimpse at the cover. It's the same book that she gave me, and it looks like she's only just started it. Ah. Oh damn, I hope she doesn't think I was staring at her. Our eyes meet, but her eyes dart away quickly. Oh, so sorry.
No, it's fine. I didn't mean to stare, I was just spacing out a bit.
Oh. Well, if I had been actually concentrating, I wouldn't have noticed. Touché.
I meant to ask, though, isn't that the book you gave me?
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, so I thought I'd give it another read-through. Not for any other reason, I assure you.
She is so obvious.
Yep.
I see, but why do you have two copies of the same book?
Ah. Well, I know I lent you the book yesterday, but I figured you might feel more comfortable with your own copy. I know that I always feel more at ease when I'm handling my own belongings. If an accident happens, they're less at stake than if you damage someone else's property, so... you're probably less clumsy than I am, though. Yuri, the ever-graceful girl, thinks that she's clumsy? Aww.
I'm pretty sure I'm just as clumsy as you, if not more so.
Oh, right. Anyway, after our meeting adjourned yesterday, I went to the bookstore to get you... that is to say, I forgot I already had a copy and accidentally bought another, and it seemed like a waste to just hold on to it.
Couldn't you have just returned it, though? Bro, stop bullying her.
They'd already closed, so, yeah. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go.
I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm glad you gave it to me. I'll get started on it right away.
That makes me happy to hear. Ew, blush. It's the kind of story that really draws you in, so if you're not careful, you can lose track of time very easily. I know I've opened it for some light reading before bed, only to close it and find out the sun's rising.
Bro, that's like me with Minecraft.
Oh, man. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I read a book that had me, up all night.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think a book has ever done that to me. Just a lot of video games.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely read a lot more when I was younger, but, it's been a long time since the books kept me that much.
Yeah. It's been a while for me too. Probably, last novel I read was, Ready Player One, my freshman year of college.
Cool. Yeah, that was a decent book. I'm sure that won't happen to you, though. You'll be able to get enough sleep as usual. That is, unless you generally find yourself lacking sleep, in which case you should go to bed earlier. But you can do whatever you want. I don't want to overstep my bounds. Ugh.
Don't worry about it, Yuri. I'll be sure to read it earlier in the day. Do you mind telling me a bit more about it?
Oh, I'd love to. Now, where do I begin? Yuri delicately closes the book, her eyes scanning the cover. Well, actually, I don't think I could give an adequate explanation on my own. If I were to tell you more about the story than I did yesterday, it would lose a lot of its impact. Forgive me if it sounds like I'm brushing you off. That's not what I intended.
It's alright, Yuri. Come to think of it, you did summarize it well enough already.
Yes. I'm sorry. I seem to get lost in my own mind whenever I talk about these kinds of stories. Don't you have anything like that, main Kara?
I guess so.
Yuri nods with a delicate smile. Everyone has a deeply held interest that stirs the passion within their heart. I suppose for me it would be my novels, and... Yuri cuts herself off as though she were about to say something she didn't want to. Oh, that's an unintentional pun.
Oh, God. Oh, poor girl.
Like, for those who have already played it, which they have to, it's like, it hits too hard. Well, you know what I mean.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
What got you into these sorts of stories, though?
I gesture towards the book in her arms.
Do your parents enjoy them as well?
Yuri pauses for a moment, shyly looking down at her feet. She seems to be going over what she wants to say in her head. I've always had it...
Your parents from the...
Yeah. I don't think... Does the original Doki Doki, like, talk about Yuri's parents?
The only parents talked about in Doki Doki is Natsuki's dad.
Right. Yeah, because Sayori's
Yeah,
parents
I
aren't...
feel like that's the only character outside of the club that's mentioned.
Yeah. I've always had an interest in the macabre. This genre can easily throw you for a loop. While many... Wait, she didn't mention her parents. I don't think. Like, the main character just asked, but I think she's ducking the question.
Yeah.
Well...
Yeah, for sure.
While many stories are simply content to introduce an antagonist and condition their reader to root against them, books like this one can find ways to flip that narrative on its head. So while you might initially find yourself relating to the protagonist, you might suddenly find out that they're their own worst enemy. I'm rambling, aren't I? Please forgive me. I really should try to think about others more. Ooh.
Yuri, I promise I'm not mad at you. You're just passionate, which is pretty cool.
It is? For a brief moment, a tiny
Damn right it is.
A tiny smile teases at the corner of Yuri's mouth. Well, I'll try not to worry about it too much. But sometimes I get distracted when I think about books and writing. I forget where I am and start speaking my mind. So please forgive me if I say anything unusual. And if I seem like I'm not paying attention, please let me know.
I really don't think you need to worry about that, Yuri. This is a literature club, after all. Isn't that the sort of thing we should be discussing anyway? Deter.
I suppose so.
So on that note, would you like to read a bit together?
You don't need to force yourself to spend time with me if you don't want to.
But what if I do?
You...
Ever think about that?
Who suggested the date? Did the character do it, or did Yuri have them reading together? Because I think it was Yuri. He was like, "Hey, you want to read the book together?" Or is now he's suggesting it.
Yeah.
You really want to spend your time with me?
Of course, Yuri.
Book in hand, I slide into the desk next to Yuri.
Everything okay?
Yes. I'm terribly sorry, main Kara. I'm just not too accustomed to reading in company. It's usually been a solitary affair for me, you see.
Yeah, I can understand how this might be a bit unsettling for you. Yeah, it's definitely... I think you're right, because, like, before, the main character was the one that would get really overwhelmed being so close to Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's, like, the opposite.
Yeah, he's smooth.
Yeah, he's cool as a cucumber. And Yuri is flustered as hell.
Yeah.
If it gets too overwhelming, let me know. I won't be offended if you need some space.
Alright. I open up the book, allowing the hardcover to flop against the desk. As I read through the prologue, I notice Yuri glancing over at my book. I thought he was a chapter in it, at least. He's still on the prologue?
Yeah. Huh. Because they read at least a little bit the day before.
Yeah.
Like, how long is the prologue?
Yeah. Maybe it's super long. I mean, the book is supposed to be really thick, so I guess the prologue's really big, too. I'd be lying.
Thick enough to hit somebody on the head with.
I'd be lying if I said it wasn't comforting in a way, but it's somewhat distracting. Ah, I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't distracting you.
You were, but that's okay.
Oh.
Yuri, why do you apologize all the time? You've really done nothing wrong.
Do I?
Oh, God.
I can't help it, I suppose. It's like an involuntary reflex. If I preemptively apologize...
This girl...
Yeah, it's like too sad.
Oh, she has been abused.
Yeah. If I preemptively apologize, it'll lessen both my disappointment in myself, as well as others' disapproval of me. I didn't mean to make things so awkward. I'm sorry. I mean...
Yuri, you are... Oh, God, she is breaking my fucking heart here. It's okay, don't worry about it. How about we do this?
I push our two desks together, then slide my book between the two of them. I suppose that'll work. Yuri puts her own copy away and shifts a bit closer to me. I steady the right side of the book between my thumb and forefinger, and Yuri does the same with the other side.
Now we can both go through it at the same pace.
So smooth. Yes. The two of us are huddled closely together over the book, carefully reading it. I can see Yuri's gentle face in my peripheral vision. She has a stern, focused expression, her eyes slowly scanning each page. Do you need a bit more time with this page?
Sorry. I guess I'm not really too quick of a reader.
I look over, and our gazes meet. There's a coy sparkling in her eyes. It's quite all right, main Kara. We can go at whatever pace you're comfortable with. After all, you've been so patient with me today. It'd only be fair for me to return the favor, wouldn't it?
Thanks. I'll try not to take too long.
The two of us continue reading in relative silence. Even though we're so quiet, each turn of the page feels as though we're connected. As I let go of the page, it gently floats over to her and she delicately slides it under her thumb. Main Kara?
Hmm?
Having been absorbed by the story, Yuri reels me back in. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
Fine. What were you going to say?
Well, I suppose I just wanted to thank you for this. I had always hoped that I would find someone to share my interest in books with. I've never really had anyone read with me before. Having someone else be there is nice.
Really? I would have thought you'd at least done some reading with your family.
Again, bringing up the family.
He's mentioning family now. Oh, don't do that, buddy.
Yes, well, I did when I was younger, but... She trails off, not finishing the thought. I decide not to press her further on it right now. Yuri takes a slow, deep breath. I'm just happy that you're here for me. I mean, with me. Not that I wouldn't want you to be there for me or anything, but... I can't believe I messed things up again.
Wait, Yuri. I don't think you've done anything wrong. If anything, I think of that as a compliment.
You do?
Sure. If I'm being honest, I enjoy your company as well.
Okay, everyone. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Oh. Yuri sighs dejectedly, looking down at the floor. Is that all right, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. Oh, it's not that. Don't worry about me. I'm all right. Yuri lets go of the book and closes the cover, handing it back to me.
Through a fair bit today, didn't we? Do you mind if I continue a bit further on my own? Or would you prefer I only read it with you?
Oh, you don't have to limit yourself on my behalf if you want to keep reading. After all, I've already finished the story before.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It was just taking a while. Then I guess I'll continue reading a little bit tonight. Then we'll have a bit more to talk about tomorrow.
I think that's my line.
Oh, what? Let me see.
It's okay.
Let me see the history. Oh, yeah. I see. Okay.
That's alright.
Yes, that's a good idea, main Kara. Just be sure to let me know how far you get so I can avoid spoilers for you.
Alright.
I skimmed through the book to find the page we left off on and folded it in slightly to mark for later. Then use a bookmark.
Oh, Lord.
By the way, you did remember to write a poem, right?
Don't worry, I'm not that much of a slacker. I've got it right here in my bag.
I rifle through some stray papers to pull out the page that I wrote my poem on. While I can't help but feel a little nervous, I have to admit that I'm excited now. Talking to these girls has really calmed my nerves, and now I'm just eager to share my poem. After all, judging by each girl's personality, I doubt that anyone would say anything nasty about it. I think he's a little more optimistic too in this mod, because he was like worried about sharing his poem, but now he's like totally into it.
Like, it's weird to me because, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because Natsuki seems a bit, like, sassier in this one.
That's true. Yeah, good-naturedly sassy, though. Well, Natsuki, I don't know if she'd be unduly harsh, though. She just seems like the type of person who enjoys ribbing on her friends. Either way, I hope they realize that I put hard work into it. I figured that it'd only be fair to repay their warm welcome by showing effort in club activities. Now that everyone's ready...
Bro, you did not care.
Why don't you find...
The original main character just didn't give a shit.
I know, you just threw random, like, complicated words together. Because Yuri might like them. Now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in neat, black composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. She's going to put us all to shame. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. Okay, poetry time. Whom should I show my poem to first?
Let's go bottom to top. Start with Monica.
That sounds like a good idea. Start with just Monica. I should start with Monica.
Just Monica.
Yesterday, she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in effort. Alright.
Yeah.
Hi, main Kara. Hope you've been enjoying your time here.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder about, like, our time in the literature club or the time in the mod.
That's true. Because does this Monica know?
I think somewhat.
I
mean,
I feel
did
like
at the
she
beginning.
should still know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. But, like, that also... She also, like, was supposed to be original Monica in the beginning. In this one, it's like, just her being tilted to the side is enough to make me think this is a slightly different Monica.
Yeah, or maybe she's a Monica that's trying a little harder to be into her scripted character.
Oh, yeah, that could be it. Because she knows that we know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming.
Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice.
That phrase. I guess so.
Anyway, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have. It's my duty as president to make sure that everything is perfect.
Hey, you've been doing a good job of that already. I doubt that I'll ever have anything to complain about.
Either way, I'm always open to new suggestions for the club as well. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay?
Alright, I'll keep that in mind.
She says that, but it's gonna be a bit intimidating to try to criticize Monica, of all people.
True, especially when she can dilute your existence.
I really don't think that there's gonna be anything I'll need to speak up about either. One of the other girls would probably say something before I ever needed to. Natsuki definitely would. Now that that's out of the way, feel like sharing your poem with me?
I mean, I don't really have a choice, do I?
You shouldn't be thinking like that.
I was just joking. Sort of.
Kinda.
Kinda.
So you're basically
Oh my god.
predicting all the text. It's alright, main character. I guess that...
I think I'm getting a good grasp on who this main character is by now.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I get that it's probably really awkward for you to share a creative work when you're just a beginner. Especially since the rest of us have a bit more experience than you do. That's an understatement. Don't worry though, we're all a little embarrassed today, you know. I don't think many people out there share their poetry on a regular basis, but it's the sort of thing that you get used to pretty quickly once you get it over with.
That's true.
I hand my poem over with a sigh.
Don't grade me too harshly.
You'll be fine. I watch nervously as she quickly scans through my poem. Good work, main Kara.
Really? You can lay the brutal truth on me if you want.
You don't have to be so harsh on yourself. This is your first time writing poetry, isn't it?
That it is.
It usually takes a while for people to become completely comfortable with their writing. And even then, they're constantly evolving their style and changing things up.
I guess that's true. Either way, you shouldn't have high expectations from me. If you don't, my poems will be seen better when I actually put in some effort anyway.
I mutter that line half-jokingly to myself, but it seems like Monica's still picked up on it. Main Kara, that's not very fair. More importantly, though, you should have faith in yourself.
Sorry.
Anyway, about your poem. The subject was deeper than I expected out of you.
Don't understand the troubled genius of my angst-ridden mind.
He also doesn't really, comment on his own writing. I think that's an improvement. As if you write a poem for Yuri, then you're full of angst.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been so. I guess we have two troubled and angsty geniuses in this club, then.
You're talking about Yuri, right?
You wrote in a style very similar to Yuri's. Her writing is full of imagery and symbolism, while Sayori and Natsuki like to use simple and direct words to communicate their messages. Yuri likes to use complex diction and syntax to allow readers to derive their own meanings out of it. In other words, her vocabulary and sentence structure are usually quite involved.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like her alright.
It might be a bit tough to understand her writing at first, but what seems opaque actually has very deep meanings behind it. I'm not looking forward to floundering when trying to figure out what to say about Yuri's poem later.
Sounds like that sort of person an English teacher would love.
Don't worry, main Kara. If you just give her writing a few read-throughs, I'm sure you'll find that they're far from incomprehensible.
What do you say? Are you sure that my writing is similar to hers? I think it's an understatement to say that I'm nowhere near her level yet.
Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up doing a lot of different things before I settle on my own style. And it'll still take a while before I'm completely comfortable sharing my writing.
That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd probably be more surprised if you immediately started writing with your own style. Most people go through the same process that you're going through right now. Trying new things is the best way to find the kind of style that suits you after all. Anyway, that's actually some great advice. I don't think they dropped all that kind of knowledge in the original game.
Yeah, that should be Monica's writing advice of the day.
Sorry to all the people at home who hearing us constantly bringing up the original game, but the difference is amazing.
I mean, it's a very similar mod with just it's the same thing but with such big differences that I think it wants you to compare it to the original.
Yeah, true. When you talk to everyone about it, naturally they'll be a bit biased towards their own kinds of styles. After all, I know I am. But don't force yourself to write in some way just because someone else wants you to. You should try to focus on what you want to do. That's a nice message too.
I wonder if there's a way, to figure out what kind of stuff Monica likes as well.
Yeah.
And, her writing style. And then maybe, because, in, the second, in Act 2 of the original,
yeah,
sometimes you can see Monica's chibi hopping up when you write poems.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always
I wonder if there's
seems
a way to
random.
do that.
Yeah, I hope, at some point the mod will deviate from the original storyline and you actually get to hang out with Monica.
I would love that.
Feel free to ask me for help anytime, though. I try to be as objective as possible when I talk to people about these topics.
Thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Yeah, that was a long conversation. Don't worry, I'm not very good.
I didn't even realize we hadn't gotten to yours yet. Are the poems different?
I don't know. We have to see.
You sound pretty... That's fair. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good.
Well, that's 'cause I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know.
Always on duty as club president, eh?
Well, let's get to reading then. Alright. The box. I see, but
Yep.
I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass. My prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back, the understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there had seemed so bright. It was so free. So many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realize now that there was never a choice. I was stuck in this box, and they, on the other side, chose for me. That's definitely a different poem.
She's still very much self-aware, though. That is very obvious from the way she's talking about this computer monitor.
Yeah. And, like, she's not, like... Because in the other one, she was talking about, like, a door peephole. Like, looking through. So she kind of realizes that there's another side. But here, she knows she's trapped on the other side.
Yeah, because the old one was hole in wall.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And then, so if there's an Act 2, that means we're going to get a second part of the box.
I wonder, yeah. So, what do you think?
Sweet. I don't quite know how to say it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback.
It's okay. I
definitely get a certain kind of feeling from reading your poem, though. But I'm just not sure how to put it into words.
Yeah, it's definitely what we're thinking, because it's like...
Yeah, I can put it into words. It is, oh shit, not again.
I can understand that. Just try to articulate it however you want. You can use metaphors outside of poetry, you know.
Well, when you put it like that, I don't know. I'd say your poem is kind of abstract. Very vague, at least. Like, I can't quite tell what you're talking about, but even so, I can feel what the speaker's feeling.
The word choice was definitely really good in that poem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that describes my poem pretty well.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I do like my metaphors. Well, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a poem without a metaphor, actually.
They're pretty well covered in English class, at least.
The ability to convey emotions and concepts through words describing things even the writer might never have experienced before, I find that really powerful. When you write metaphorically, it allows the reader to focus on the emotions in the poem.
I guess it kind of opens it up for the readers to have their own interpretations.
Exactly. It's fascinating when people can diverge from the creator's original intent to find their own meaning in a work of art. Hint, hint. We're a mod.
Yeah. What was your original intent then?
I think it'd be more fun if you tried to figure it out yourself. As if we haven't already figured everything out.
That just makes me more curious now.
Because, like, we know what happened, but he has no clue.
Yeah, and he's not as dumb as he used to be.
Maybe I'll tell you one day. But for now, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Amongst many writing tips of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem, or anything for that matter, you get too fixated on a specific point. But if you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. So the best thing to do is to just force yourself to get something down on the paper and then tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and write whatever's in your heart. Easier said than done. I get what she's trying to say, though. It's better to look back on your work with fresh eyes after you've gotten something down sometimes. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Alright, so from the bottom to the top, we have Yuri next. Monica was super
That was
long.
so long.
I don't know why.
Oh,
She likes
Lord.
to talk and talk.
if they're all this long, then holy shit.
Yeah, I think by the time we're finished with all the poems, it'll be time to wrap up the episode.
Oh, for sure.
Alright, so let's go. Yuri's eyes seem to sparkle as she reads my poem. My goodness, this is unparalleled.
I think that might be a bit much.
Huh? Forgive me if that didn't sound sincere. Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face.
Don't sweat it, Yuri. I just wasn't expecting to hear such a compliment from you already.
I see. Yuri clears her throat. Well, I just wanted to say, this is truly an impeccable poem. Yuri glances down back at my poem. So, I assume this isn't your first piece, am I correct? Your composition incorporated a lot of beautiful poetic devices and imagery indicative of an experienced writer.
Well, I'd hate to disappoint, but this is kind of my first time doing this sort of thing.
You're joking, right? I shake my head.
If I ended up writing a good poem, it's totally coincidental, I'm afraid. Or we've played the game before. Yada-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it's just a jumble of random words, so it's a total coincidence if he writes a good poem. I see. Well, in that case, I think you've got a wonderful gift. Although, if you would like, I could offer you some advice for your future poems. Yuri's eyes light up as though she's been looking forward to this.
Excuse me, you called it unparalleled, and now you're trying to make it parallel? I don't think so. Please do. I need all the help I can get.
I've just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that showed up in your poem. I thought she said that you, that this wasn't your first time.
Oh, lordy. She cannot make up her mind.
Yeah. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you've tried very hard to make the structure of this poem your own. And that's okay. But if this is the first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures, couplets, sonnets, haiku, and the like. If you're not confident in your writing style, it'll show in your piece. It's like Yuri's a totally different person once she gets going. She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly. Again, that's not your fault. I think that once you've studied poetic structures and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition.
I appreciate the feedback, Yuri. It sounds like you're very well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay to take a look at what you've written?
Oh goodness, of course! Please let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Okay. Ooh, looks like this isn't the light, what was the other?
Ghost Under the Light?
Yeah, this is called Tumble. Hail falls down like discarded dust of overused emotions, dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pierces my eyelids, barely painful, and pulls them shut. Ever so heavy, ever so heavy. Please don't... Oh, wait. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. Though there are more important things for you to do today.
Hold up. Slender string pierces my eyelids.
Huh.
Barely painful and pulls them shut. Ever so heavy. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? We need all the pieces to fix it. Okay. Please don't look for it. Okay, something tells me this mod is gonna start messing with like the metadata and stuff and all the files. Like this sounds like something that's like there's something missing and something's gonna happen, but you can't look for it yet.
I see.
Ooh.
So I guess
Ooh.
Yuri's poems are like are meta and fourth wall breaking too?
They could be. The Slender String thing reminds me of some of the official art that's sold on their page.
Oh yeah.
Like how Natsuki Sayori and Monica are all wrapped up in these strings that seem to be coming from Yuri.
Right.
This is neat.
Didn't expect Yuri to have different poems. I mean, Monica, obviously, she's like the fourth wall character, but these characters shouldn't have different poems, but it makes it more interesting for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
I'm sorry if my writing's a bit illegible. Once my pen touches the page, I just want to get my thoughts down.
Fine, Yuri. I was able to read it just fine. I wasn't thinking that at all.
Are you sure? It seemed to take you a while to read it. Yeah, because we analyzing
I'll
it.
read cursive. I'm gonna tear this bit by bit. Huh, well, I guess I don't see cursive often. What'd I say? Well, actually, I think that's a line from the original, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's really nice when I do. Your writing's actually quite pretty.
Is that so? I'm glad you think so.
You made your poem stand out even more as well. It's as though your handwriting fits your word choice, or vice versa.
It wasn't too short, was it? I'm used to writing longer pieces, but since this is the first time we're sharing, I thought it would be easier to share.
That makes sense. Do you mind telling me what it's about? I'm not sure I understand.
Sorry, I didn't mean to write something confusing.
Oh, it's not that. I just want to be sure I'm reading it properly.
I see. I suppose from a cursory glance it might not be obvious. But part of what makes poetry magical is how you can conjure up a vivid image with your words. While on the surface it might seem a bit out there, if you look a little deeper, you might be able to find a deeper meaning hidden amongst the lines, compounded by the metaphors used. All their poems are gonna have deeper meanings. For example, the words and images in this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnants of something lost to the past and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it.
Pretty impressive when you put it that way.
You really think so? That might
No,
be
not at all. It was fun.
That might be a bit much, main Kara.
Called my writing unparalleled. You're talking to me about a bit much? No, I really mean it.
It's like, no one in this game can take a compliment.
Yeah, it's like fucking real life for me. Whenever I try to compliment my friends, they're like, no, you.
Aww.
I'm like, shut up.
Uno, reverse.
You talented son of a bitch. I think I could learn something from your poetry, Yuri.
Really?
Really? Yeah, of course.
You know, at first, the prospect of sharing my writing was terrifying, but I'm really glad I was able to do it. Hopefully I can write another piece that you'll like, Mankara.
I'll look forward to it, Yuri.
Whew, okay. So that's Yuri done.
2 more to go.
Alright.
Natsuki. Please don't be long.
Okay.
Kara, if you're actually not gonna try, then you're better off just leaving the club.
Jeez, you don't beat around the bush, do you?
Why should I? This is just plain bad.
God damn. Hey, do I look like a writer?
This is gonna be a lot of back and forth for you.
Oh, man. You want to take over Natsuki, maybe?
Yeah, sure. That'll make it more fair.
This was my first ever poem. Yeah, it's probably garbage, but I still tried. If you're so confident, let's see the first poem you wrote, huh? Hard to think about?
Fine. I'm, sorry if you were offended. Way to avoid a direct apology. But next time, at least try a little bit harder.
Nowhere to go but up, eh?
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Just read my poem. Knowing you, you'll probably hate it. Okay, well that was really quick. So now, sometimes. This is different, for sure.
Yeah.
Some folks are winners. Some only lose. Some are go-getters. Some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all. Sometimes we give up. What else can we do? Just like the other poem, though, the last part doesn't rhyme.
Yeah. The original one was Eagles Can Fly, right?
Yeah. Right.
Huh.
Told you you'd hate it.
Actually, I like it.
What? Don't just say it's good
Yeah,
because
you
I'm a
heard
girl. Be honest.
Oh, trust me. Trust me. It is not because you're a girl. There are 3 other girls here I could do that for.
Yeah, that's
What?
basically
No,
what
it has nothing... Yeah. What? No, it has nothing to do with you being a girl. I genuinely like the poem.
Really?
Yeah. Simple, but still pretty effective.
Finally, someone who gets it. People in high school think poetry has to be so formal and vague. But they don't realize that simply writing is just as effective, if not more. The reader shouldn't have to search for the meaning. That's just stupid. Besides, the simpler the writing, the more emphasis on wordplay. Like how I made most of the lines start with some.
Yeah, I noticed that. Made the last couplets seem more powerful.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for.
Well, good job then.
Ha! Didn't expect that from the youngest of the club, did ya?
Yeah, it's not.
Alright, Sayori, finally. Let's see what her new poem
Alright.
is.
What she got for us?
You said this is your first poem, right?
Yeah. Why?
It impressed me. Especially for your first poem.
Liar.
Maybe this really is the
How
place
dare
for
you.
you.
Come on, it's not that good. I mean, it's not like I'm used to writing poems or anything.
Totally
We are. Yeah, that. But thanks, I guess.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Main Kara. Everyone has to start
You
from
said hard.
somewhere. You're already off to a good start. Anyway, I guess I can show you mine now. Don't expect much, though. I'm not very good at this. Aw. Both her and Natsuki getting right to the
Shoot.
point.
She was all excited, though.
Uh-huh.
Only one way to find out.
Alright. Dear Sunshine. Oh, this looks familiar. The way you glow
Oh,
through
it's the
my
same one, I
blinds-
think.
Yeah. The way you glow through my blinds in the morning. It makes me feel like you missed me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed. Making me rub the sleepy from my eyes.
Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above. The sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast.
That's so in character of her, though. Like, oh, I got up too late and I couldn't come up with a new poem, so I'm going to use the one from the old one.
Yep. Yeah, I guess
Also,
that is
it
lazy
mentioned the
Sayori.
blue sky.
That's true. Doki Doki Blue Skies. I
Yeah.
wonder if it is subtly
Stuff
different. Then.
referential.
I'll have to look at the original.
I feel like it's the same. Because that line does seem familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I look above, the sky is blue, it's a secret, but I trust you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that was maybe them leaving that one the same was intentional because of the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got the title from.
Yeah, maybe her other poems will be different and she'll put more effort into changing.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, what did you think?
I hesitate as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback.
You.
What's that supposed to mean?
As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel really good inside.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect, as this is my first time reading your poetry. But the way this is written, I dunno, it feels really wholesome and cheery. Like you are.
Oh, she's got a little sweat there, because she's not always cheery.
I also really liked the last line. Trust you of all people to include breakfast in their poems.
Hey, I was eating it when I
Oh. Sayori stops speaking immediately, as if she's accidentally let something slip.
Oh, so you wrote the poem this morning.
Huh? No. Well, maybe.
The main character is definitely less of a jerk here, because he was, like, total meanie, saying, like, you wrote this right when you woke up, didn't you?
Yep.
Here he's more playful.
I forgot to write it last night.
Well, at least we know where your inspiration comes from.
Eggs and toast.
Well, I suppose if it sounds silly, but it works, then it isn't silly.
I like
That's
that.
that's something I always say. Yeah. I say if it looks stupid, but it works, it ain't stupid.
That works equally well.
Either way, thanks for showing me your poem, Sayori. It was really good.
I'm happy you think so. Anyways, next time I won't forget. Tomorrow's poem will be even better.
I hope that means it'll be different.
Yeah. I'll hold you to that.
Alright. Phew. Just exactly what we're feeling.
Phew.
Let me save the game here. Alright, overwrite the save. And I think that is the end of this episode. They probably went a little longer than the first episode, but thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you, Max, for coming back to play another episode.
Of course.
Guys, remember to subscribe and like the video and comment underneath to tell me if you're enjoying this, and hopefully it won't be too long before we have another episode up and waiting.
Yeah.
Bye!
Bye.